Welcome to Vysh IAS. So we'll be continuing with the PLUMS series of polity, governance and schemes today. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing this channel so that you will be getting daily free updates on UPSC. And if you're looking for a good quality test series, then you can contact the number which is given on the screen 7200681675. Let's move on to the first question. First question reads, how many statements are correct? And the question is regarding Central Administrative Tribunal. So Central Administrative Tribunal's CAT was set up in 1985 with the principal bench at Delhi. Okay, so recently UPSC has this habit of asking the years also. So instead of mugging up the years, if you know the evolution of a constitution, if you know the evolution of our politics, then you can guess the years. Okay, you can remember like Indira era, Rajiv Gandhi era. Okay, like what is the contemporary politics happening at that period of time, and from that you can link whatever is happening in the constitution development. Like that you can link. Otherwise, mugging up all these details will become a tedious task. Okay, so please go to this tribunals, the background of tribunals, why it was set up, why there was a necessity. So once you understand that basic fact, you can relate like in the 1980s it should have been set up. Okay, so they are not going to ask something very specific like 1986 it is the correct year. Okay, if you know an approximate time period, then that will do, that will be enough for you to attend these kind of questions. So here this question, this statement is correct. It was set up in 1985. So today's homework for you, you have to learn how to analyze these kind of statements, and today you have to go and check what is the background of the creation of tribunals, why it was created, why there was a necessity, who are all the committees, commissions, etc. involved in setting up these tribunals, and what are the subdivisions, like you have state administrative tribunals, CAT, what is the jurisdiction. Okay, so once you know the background, all these details will become linkable. Okay, you can link all these details, and from that you can guess like what is the year, what is the approximate time period it should have been set up. Okay, that you can guess. Then next is original jurisdiction of CAT includes recruitment and all service matters of public servants covered by it, and jurisdiction also extends to all India service, central civil service, and civil post under central and civilian employees of defense services. Okay, like if you look at this second statement, it is a linked statement, or it is a combined statement, I would say. It is a combined statement. Look at this word and. Okay, so this and is given deliberately to make this statement a little more complicating, so that the candidate will find it difficult to process this statement. So it is all about your presence of mind. You have to split the statements. Read this first part. Original jurisdiction of CAT includes recruitment and all service matters of public servants covered by it. It's a simple statement. Yes, this is correct. If you have learned the basics from Lakshmikant, you know it's correct. Then split the statement. And jurisdiction extends to all India service, central civil service, civil post under the center, and civilian employees of defense service. Even this is also a static statement. This is also correct. So whenever you are learning these kind of constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, I have already said, you have to make a table like format, and you have to note down the details. What is the jurisdiction, how many members are there, who appoints, what is the nature of the body, whether it's constitution, non-constitutional, or executive body, what is the nature of the body, and what are the jurisdiction, what are the powers. Okay, all those things you can make a tabular kind of format, and you can mug it up. Like you can compare all the bodies. On one side you will be having CAT, other side you will be having SAT, State Administrative Tribunal. Below that you will be having some Vigilance Commission. So you can compare and contrast and learn all the bodies in one go. Okay, so that would be an easiest method to learn these kind of topics in polity. So here if you are splitting the statement, splitting the statements into two, then both the statements become a simpler processable kind of statements, and 2 is also correct. Now come to 3. Members of defense forces, officers and servants of Supreme Court and secretarial staff of Parliament are also covered by it. No. See here, it is a logical kind of statement. Secretarial staff of Parliament, is it that powerful to be covered in Central Administrative Tribunal? No. If it covers like Central Civil Service, then it is that powerful. So in a matter, in a setup, or in a body, in an administrative setup which is covering the service conditions of central civil services, then there is only less chance that such an important body or such a powerful body will be covering something which is related to secretarial staff, because it is like inferior, or I would not say inferior, but it is like below the civil service only. Okay, so I hope you are getting the point. Something which is covering the conditions of central civil services, it is not possible, or it is logically not possible for that particular body to cover the service conditions of secretarial staff of parliament. That is a logical kind of statement, and you can mark this statement incorrect. So 3 is not correct. So in effect 1 and 2, only 2 statements are correct. So the correct answer comes out to be only 2 statements are correct, B. Now come to the next statement. How many statements are correct? The constitution leaves to the president the power to specify as to what caste or tribes in each state and UT are to be treated as SC and ST. Very standard fact, correct statement. In case of states, president issues notification after consulting governor of the state concerned. Yes, it's also standard fact. Correct statement. Any inclusion or exclusion of any caste or tribe from the presidential notification can be done only by the parliament and not by subsequent presidential notification. All the statements are standard fact statement, very easy statement from Lakshmikant. So here all the statements are correct, all 3 are correct, C. Now come to the next. 52nd Amendment Act of 1985 provided for, okay, the total number of ministers including PM in the Central Council of Ministers shall not exceed 15% of the total strength of Lok Sabha. No, this is incorrect. A member disqualified on the ground of defection shall also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister. Incorrect. A member of either House of Parliament or either House of a state legislature disqualified on the ground of defection shall also be disqualified to hold any remunerative political post. Incorrect. Disqualification of a member of a house belonging to a political party if the person voluntarily gives up the membership of his political party. Yes, D is the correct answer. Now, I wanted to think why D is correct and why all these statements are incorrect. If you know 52nd and 91st, they are somewhat related, similar kind of statements, and there are high chances that we may get confused between the provisions of these two acts, because both are dealing with defection only. Okay, both are dealing with defection. So, for defection, you are having two provisions, like 10th schedule you are having a provision, and 91st Constitutional Amendment Act also you are having certain provision. So it is important for you to know the provisions of each act, and you have to compare and contrast also. A particular provision with respect to defection comes under, or it gets covered under which of the act. That is also equally important. So you have to know whether this provision is covered in 52nd Act or whether this provision is covered in 91st Act, and what is 10th schedule, what is 91st. All those things you have to be crystal clear, because defection is such an important topic that every year you will be getting one question for sure. Okay, so here I would say A, B and C are incorrect simply because it is not covered in 52nd, because it's covered in 91st, whereas the fourth statement, it is covered in 52nd with respect to defection. So here you see B, C and D, it is very close. Okay, they are very close option. They are dealing with defection. So if you are not okay with the basics, if you are not crystal clear with the basics, you may get confused. Okay, so please go through this once again. Now come to the next question. Which of the following statements are correct? Article 3 authorizes the Parliament to form a new state by separation of territory from any state, or by uniting two or more state or parts of state, or by uniting any territory to a part of any state. So here also you have to split the statement, and whatever method you have followed during your basic preparation, like you would have made some notes for this, all these statements, no, like flowcharts and all. So whatever method you have learned, you have to decode this with respect to this statement. You have to process this statement with respect to what you have learned. Okay, you will be having some notes, like you will be having some flowcharts through which you made all these complex statements into simpler statements, and by that way you would have processed it. So the same thing you have to do the reverse in the examination hall. If you get a complicated statements, you have to break it down and relate it to what you have learned during your basic preparation. So here this statement is a complex statement, but it's a standard statement and it's a correct statement. First is correct. 2, increase the area of any state, correct. Diminish the area of any state, again correct. So 1, 2 and 3, all the statements are correct. Okay, so here it is not 3, it is increase the area of any state or diminish the area of any state. So 1 and 2 are correct. So both 1 and 2 is the correct answer. Okay, all the 2 statements are correct. Come to the next. Article X authorizes the Parliament to prescribe the cases under which a person can be detained for more than 3 months under preventive detention law without the opinion of an advisory board. So X refers to, like, what is the article number? So 4 article numbers are given. Again, it is a question from fundamental rights. If you are not aware of all the provisions of fundamental rights, then you will get messed up with this question. So here it's a standard question, and the correct answer for this question is article 22, which is dealing with this detention. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So that's all for today's plums. That's the end of today's session. So we'll meet in the next week in the next episode. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you.